Here we are at Fabspeed Motorsports, and we're going to have a video explanation of the Fabspeed Motorsports performance parts for the 2009 Boxster Cayman cars. This is the second generation car. This is the new DFI car, direct fuel injection into the port. And we're going to explain to you how we went about it, developing, dyno testing, and street testing, and sound quality testing these parts. Just as a basis point, here is the factory exhaust on the first 987 car from Porsche. The headers would be up here with 700 cell ceramic cats, and the exhaust would go through these 2-inch 50mm pipes through a set of secondary catalytic converters, which are unnecessary, in these two large heavy mufflers. These are corrugated stainless stamp mufflers. Then the exhaust talks to both sides of the muffler. This is a muffler strengthener support. And then the exhaust goes through these two pipes, collides in the middle, and then gets forced out the center. By the exhaust coming through these two, it slams into each other and then goes forced out the front of this tip. There's actually horsepower and torque to remove this tip, as we found in the dyno. That's why Fabspeed doesn't recommend necessarily just upgrading your tip on your muffler, but you can do so. But there's horsepower by taking this tip off, but then you just have a jagged pipe in the middle of your car. Anyway, continuing on. Now on the lift, you can see what Porsche did for the 2009 DFI cars. This is the newest car, secondary 987.2, the second generation, and you can see the new flange they used. These are the headers on the car. These are hydroformed stainless steel primary tubes for these headers, which means they take a steel die and then they put the stainless steel tubing in, then they put water inside the tubes and pressurize it to incredible PSI or bar, and then these tubes conform to the die. Really simple, really cheap way to make headers other than making the tool and dies. Mass production, no welding, no cutting. So once again, the bean counters are trying to get cars out the door at the lowest cost, which is what they're supposed to do for shareholders. The exhaust then goes through an 800 cell ceramic cat. Once again, same type of pipes over the axles, 2-inch 50mm tubing through another secondary redundant cat. Same two heavy mufflers on the left and the right. And then on the Boxster Cayman S, they actually improved the tips a little bit. They went to 2 pipes coming out of here. However, there's more horsepower and torque to be had by eliminating this pipe, because once again, the exhaust is coming through, banging into each other, and then going out the tailpipe. Fluids, whether it's gas, plasma, or liquids, don't like hitting each other and then forcing out. It's a less efficient way. This should be a dual exhaust with a 90 coming out for the stock mufflers. In order to maximize power in these stock mufflers, you should have 2 90s coming out, but this is simple, quick, and efficient in the production car environment. Now on the floor, we're going to show you what Fabspeed did for the new 987 second generation car. Here we made our own high performance headers. We tried to straighten out the tubes as much as possible for good flow out of the ports. These are nice and straight, so the exhaust comes out of the ports and goes straight down. This is an IndyCar Formula 1 type high velocity merge collector, and then it goes through an HJS 200 cell tri-metallic race cat. Fabspeed imports these cats from HJS in Germany. Tri-metallic, OBD2, European level 4 catalytic converters, no garbage cats. This is the real deal. No check engine lights, durable. And then we also have copper gaskets for these headers, and copper gaskets in general for any car. So if you go to other manufacturers' headers, you want quality gaskets. Don't buy the Porsche thin stainless steel junk gaskets. Anyway, then it comes through these are larger mandrel bent tubes with a flexible bellows to absorb vibration. We use Formula 1 V-band clamps with a ball and socket joint to hook up. And then you go through these dual mufflers. These are the largest mufflers we can get under the car, also save weight. The exhaust has a crossover to cancel out certain sounds, but then 2 90-degree bends, 57.2mm, 2 1/4 inches to come to these tips. These tips have clamps underneath, so you can adjust the length, pitch, you can roll them in, roll them out. So you have ultimate adjustability, and these will not tarnish. So this is where you pick up the horsepower and torque, and this is where you pick up the horsepower and torque. We found over 10 horsepower on the headers, and then we found approximately 9 to 10 on the mufflers. We're still revising those, but it all sounds great, works good on the dyno, fits 100% great. And then also, if you're satisfied with your Porsche factory exhausts, and you're pleased with that, You can remove this tip assembly, and Fabs made some beautiful tips with the 90-degree pipes coming out, so you'll pick up more horsepower and torque than that. Direct bolt on for that. They're beautiful resonated tips, and they will not discolor, and it also comes with clamps. So you can pop a new set of tips on your any 2009 plus Boxster, Cayman, Cayman S, you name it. All from Fabspeed Motorsport USA.